What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. So today's kind of special because I have this PowerPoint outline to help you guys understand the true power of investing and really the true power of compounding interest. So I'm going to briefly walk you guys through this PowerPoint, but I really want to come out and make this video because so many of you guys need to understand the true meaning and the true power of investing. So at any point, feel free to pause the video so that you can read each one of these slides in more detail, but I'm going to kind of walk you guys through it just a little bit, give you a breakdown, but then afterwards, feel free to pause the video and go through and read over each one of these slides in very good detail. That way you guys remember it, it's engraved within your minds, within your brains, and that you guys can start working towards your future through investing. So let's start here with slide 1. So again, the problem most people have is they really just never get started investing, or they think they don't have a lot of money and they can't get started investing, or it's too late to start investing, which is a problem. You want to make sure you're getting invested as soon as possible. So that is a big problem that most people face, is they never truly get started investing. So right here we have in this slide, it's common misconception that to save a lot of money, you have to make a lot of money. In reality, acquiring a substantial sum of money requires only two things: time and the discipline to constantly work towards a goal. Now, I'm not going to read through all of this slide, but we're going to jump right down to the good stuff. So here is a little chart. This chart is to sum up, if you had a $2,000 lump sum investment and you're earning 5% or 10% return on your money, this is generally what you could expect to make over 20, 30, 40, 50, and even a 60-year time period. So if you started with $2,000 and after 20 years, at a 5% return, you would earn $5,300. Jumping all the way to 60 years down the road, you would generally make around $37,000. And so on. If you're making 10% return on your money, after 20 years, you'd make about $13,000. Jumping all the way to 60 years, you'd make about $600,000. So it's interesting to see how much of a difference those few interest percentage points can make. So that is another important thing that we'll talk about in a few slides coming up. So let's go ahead and jump to the next one. Here's a really cool one. So now we're moving on to give you guys an understanding of, if you start later on in your life investing, the difference is very big. The idea is you want to start investing as soon as you can, so that way you can start compounding the interest. See, I'm 25 and my first retirement account I opened up was when I was 18, and ever since I've been shoveling money away so that way I can make sure I have a good amount of money to retire on, and I'm not going to have to worry about random expenses or any sort of thing that pops up within my lifetime, and hopefully I'll be able to find myself sipping a cocktail somewhere on a beach somewhere nice. And that's why it's very important, if you're young and you find this video, to make sure you go by everything that's being mentioned in these slides, because it's going to make an absolute big difference in your lifetime. All right, so the importance of time cannot be underestimated. It is important that you must plan, okay? You must plan for your future. So suppose you're 25 and you have a goal of $250,000 by the time you retire. You want to have $250,000 by the time you retire. You could accomplish this by just saving $26 a month and earning an average rate of return at 12%. Now, I know some of you guys may think this is impossible or it can't be true, but in fact, it is true if you follow these simple steps for investing. So to give you guys an understanding, you could earn $250,000 at your retirement by earning a 12% return, only saving $26 a month if you were 25. But if you started investing at 55 and you wanted to make $250,000 by the time you retire at age 65, you would have to save $1,118 a month. So think about that. If you wanted to reach a goal of $250,000 by the time you're 65, you could start putting away $26 a month at age 25 while earning 12% return, and you'd be able to hit that goal. But if you wait and you could procrastinate and think it's too late to start investing, Well, it is in fact going to become too late to start investing, because if you try to do it at 45 years old, you'll now have to save $275 a month. If you're to wait till you're 55, you had to save $1,118 a month. So this is where the time factor is on your side. You must have to understand that time makes a massive difference in regards to how much money you will make over the long run when it comes to investing. Now, a bunch of people will probably comment on this video and say, Connor, well, see, this takes so long to make so much money. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to accumulate a massive amount of wealth through saving and through retirement accounts, but it's definitely possible. See, the people that try to become rich overnight usually don't succeed very often, but those that are patient and understand the process end up having a very good amount of money when they retire. So let's move on to the next slide here. Principle, all right? If you want to be financially independent, you have no choice. You must start now, or later you'll have to save more, as we were giving you guys examples in the previous slide. So here's another example. $3 a day invested at 12% compounded annually until the age of 65. All right, so age 25, total age 65, cost to wait. Ready? So this is kind of just breaking it down in a little bit of a different manner. So if you're 25 years old, okay, and you save $3 a day at 12% compounded annually until you're 65, you can look to have about $1 million by the time you are 65 years old. If you wait until 26 to start investing $3 a day, you can expect to have about $978,000 by 65. And if you wait till you're 27 to start investing $3 a day, you'll end up with about $578. So this just goes to show you that by waiting just 1 or 2 years, you can take off $500,000 from your potential retirement account by the time you're 65. To reiterate this, if you start investing at 25 with $3 a day, earning 12% interest, compounded annually, you could expect to make about $1 million. But if you wait until you're 26, you'll lose $120,000, and if you wait until you're 27, you'll lose close to $500,000. Big difference. And there's a few more examples down here as well, and I'll read this one off to you. The other element of money, suppose you wanted to start saving $200 a month over a long period of time, and suppose you're able to achieve 12% return on your money. Let's see how it would work. Now, here's another thing. Don't get impatient when you see charts of figures coming up. They're easy to understand. Again, if at any point you guys need to pause the video and look over these charts and over these examples, make sure to do so, because this is all legitimate work and it is very true, as long as you stick to the plan. Okay, so again, if you want to start investing at $200 a month with a 12% return, after 20 years, you could expect to have saved $200,000. After 40 years, you could expect to have saved $2.3 million, and after 60 years, you could expect to save $25 million. So does $200 a month compounded at 12% annually not sound too bad for $25 million? Now, of course, your next thing is, Connor, that's exactly if you're earning 12% annually, compounded every single year with no market fluctuation, not taking into consider inflation. Of course, these are hypothetical numbers, and they're probably not going to be as exact to these examples. But what we can guarantee you, so let's not talk hypothetical here, right? Hypothetically, these are numbers, right? These are hypothetical numbers, okay? So let's talk in terms of not hypothetical. So it's guaranteed that you will be broke by the time you're 65 if you don't invest. So whether or not you reach 25 million or not, I can guarantee you you're going to be broke if you don't start investing. So why don't you just start? Even though the numbers might be hypothetical here, there's a strong chance you're going to end up in the millions if you follow this process. So though you may not hit 25 million with $200 a month, maybe you can start putting away 300 or 400 or 500 depending on your job. Maybe 1 month you might be able to cut down your expenses and jump that 200 to 250. So that hypothetical number at 200 becomes less hypothetical. But as we said, we can guarantee you'll be broke if you don't start investing. Let's go ahead and jump to the next slide. All right. So most people think that a few extra percentage points of interest don't amount to much money, but in fact, that's not the case. As we had spoken earlier, those few little extra percentage points that you receive can make a massive difference, and this chart is to show you that. All right, so here we have a couple numbers here. In the green equals 2%, the little baby blue here equals 8%, and the purple equals 14%, okay? So take a look. The chart below shows what happens if you invest a lump sum of $1,000 at 3 different rates of interest, 2%, 8%, and 14%. All right. So after 10 years, if you were to invest $1,000 and you're earning 2% return, after 10 years, you could expect to have $1,000, okay? After 20 years, you could expect to have $1,400, and after 50 years, you could expect to have $2,691. Again, remember, you start with $1,000 and only earning 2% return compounded annually. For 50 years, your $1,000 would hypothetically become about $2,700. But if you're invested $1,000 compounded annually at 14% over the course of 50 years, that $1,000 can hypothetically turn into $700,000. So it doesn't seem like a bad deal to invest $1,000 right now, does it? No, it doesn't. Let's move forward. We're almost finished. Okay? So another important concept. This is the concept and the rule that my father taught me when I was 18, and that changed the game for me ever since. When I was 18, my father taught me the rule of 72, which is basically a mathematical equation to help you understand just how fast your money will double itself through through saving and earning, obviously, compounded interest. And at that day, when he was 18, he sat down with me at our kitchen counter. I remember it. He sat down at our kitchen counter, he grabbed a piece of paper, and he grabbed a pen. He said, "Son, do you want to know how to become a millionaire?" And I said, "Well, who in the world most likely doesn't want to become a millionaire?" I said, "Yes, of course. Teach me, Dad. Teach me. How do I become a millionaire?" And he goes, "It's very simple. Ready? Here's the rule of 72. He mapped it out on a piece of paper. He drew it out and says, if you do this with this much money, you'll have this much money by the time you retire, or close to, considering market fluctuation, all the other little variables." And I said, "Why in the hell wouldn't I do this?" And he goes, "I don't know, but most Americans don't. And most Americans have less than $2,000 in their savings account." And at that moment in time, it blew my mind that most people don't have tons of money by the time they retire, because the concept and the process is super simple. Now, of course, life gets in the way of investing, and we have unexpected expenses like car repairs and medical bills, and next thing you know, your kid or your son, your daughter wants the hottest new product like the Apple iPhone, and whatever it may be, life does get in the way. But once he taught me the rule of 72, I never turned an eye from it, and I started saving tons of money since then. Always want to make sure I'm saving away. So look at the chart here. The equation here, the rule of 72, is you take the number 72, as shown here on the screen. You take the number 72 and you divide it by your interest, or your rate of return, okay? So if you were to take 72 and divide it by 1%, that's going to equal 72 years. That means if you had $1,000 and you're earning a 1% return, it will take 72 years for your $1,000 to turn into $2,000, okay? Moving forward, if you had an interest, or your return is 18%, you divide 72 divided by 18 equals 4 years. Meaning, if I had $1,000 and I'm earning 18% return annually, it would take 4 years for that $1,000 to turn into $2,000. Now, somebody will comment in this video and go, "Connor, 18% return annually every single year, that's near impossible," which is actually true. That kind of is near impossible. But it is true that some years you will get 18% return if your money is in the right markets. The investment fund that I opened up when I was 18 was through T. Rowe Price Investment, and I invested into a health and science fund. Since inception, I have returned about 14.5%. That is what I've been getting back on an annual basis. An average basis, I have been making about a 14.5% return on my money in that account since I was 18. And there's reasons why, but we're not going to go into it in this video. So now we'll go down to this little box here to give you guys an understanding. So on the left, we have years 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then on the top, we have your percent return all the way up to 18. So this is $100 a month compounded annually with these interest rates. So we'll go to the really, really fun one all the way at the end. Basically, if you were to invest $100 every single month for 50 years and earn 18% return, you can expect to have $28 million. Now you're thinking, there's no way, it's not even possible. It's possible, ladies and gentlemen. If you go on the internet and you look up the Rule of 72 and compounding interest, you're going to find this exact hypothetical calculation everywhere because it is very true. So once you see this video, is there any reason why you wouldn't start saving money now? I don't see a reason why not. Let's go to the next slide. All right. This slide is to show you that your everyday purchases like a water or pop or cigarettes, if you're a smoker, can make a massive difference if you just cut out the bad habits or you cut off the $5 coffee a day. All right. So looking here, you don't have to have a fortune to invest to enjoy the magic of compound interest. Look at these simple examples and they can accumulate to a substantial amount of money. So your first one here, right? So $2 a day for 30 days. So imagine if you cut out pop. Pop's about $2 a day or a $2 soda pop. So imagine if you were to cut out your soda pop. $2 a day for 30 days equals $60 a month, okay? Across the top, we have years, and on the side, we have interest. So imagine a 5% return on $60 a month averaged out for 50 years, so you could expect to save $160,000. If you were to save $60,000 a month or cut out your Mountain Dew or your Coca-Cola every single day for the rest of your life for a month and save that money and get a 15% return compounded annually, you could expect to have about $5.5 million after 50 years. On to the next one. How many of you guys smoke? Maybe some of you guys, but a lot of people smoke. I used to smoke, still kind of do smoke, so I should probably listen to my own advice and quit smoking. But as we all know, we all have habits and it's hard to cut them every once in a while, and it just kind of is what it is. But this is a great example for myself. I used to smoke cigarettes. I don't anymore, so I've cut back a little bit in terms of my smoking, so I have saved some money, but not quite enough, apparently. So here we are. So $7 is about the average price that people will spend on cigarettes. Okay, so $7 for 30 days. If you're a pack-a-day smoker, which I was, and I was a pack like every couple days. So a pack-a-day smoker, if you are one, or you're a 2-pack-a-day smoker, which there are some, $7 a day for 30 days comes out to $220. Okay, if you were to save that $220 and earn an interest of 12% over 40 years and 65 years, you could look to make about $2 million to $3.7 million. If you got an average return of 14% per year on those pack of smokes, you could look to make about $7 million. So would you rather smoke cigarettes or make $7 million? Apparently, I would still like to smoke over $7 million. Again, stupid, I know. Areas where I can even get better. But I'm assuming there's areas where you guys can improve yourself. So though I still smoke, I still save a ton of money per month. Okay? Granted, I may have a higher income than others, and I understand that other people may not have as high of income, and that makes it harder for other people to invest quite as much. It might give me leniency to still have a bad habit, but as you can see, the numbers are true and the numbers are real. Next slide. So the next slide is really just kind of an outline here, just kind of reiterating and going over everything that we've gone over in these slides. Now, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you have learned something new. And please do share this with your friends, share that with your family, and share it with anybody you can so you can get the word out to help anybody understand just the power of saving and the power of compound interest and the power of the Rule of 72, because the numbers don't lie. I will mention that these are hypothetical numbers. You may not receive a 12% return every year. You may not ever receive 18% return every year, But 5% is better than no percent, and 6% is better than 5%. Some years you'll be up 20%, some years you'll have a negative percent, and then that is how over time you create an average percentage growth. And that's when areas where you'll want to speak to financial advisors, sit down with somebody to make a plan, and make sure that your investment accounts are actively being managed. Because if they're not actively being managed, then the chances are you're not going to be getting the best return possible. An example of this would be healthcare or technology. Technology has been booming. Well, most things have been booming, but healthcare specifically has been booming for the last 15, even 20 years. Okay? And it may continue to boom, but it might fall off, and the next big thing could be technology, for example. Could be technology. So if your money sits within the healthcare realm, it was earning a really good percent, but as healthcare may die down in the future, you'll stop earning such a good percentage return. And if that account is not actively managed, then you're going to be missing out on the better area where your money could be invested. So again, not a financial advisor, and this is great content for you guys. Make sure to share it, like the video, share it, subscribe, whatever you have to do. I thank you guys once again for tuning in, and as always, I will see you guys on the next video.